What's up guys? So today I'm going to be filming a review on the Wet n Wild highlighting palette that came out for the holidays. This is what it looks like. It's the Mega Glow highlighting palette in Illuminatrix. And so I actually did a first impressions on this palette when I did a first impressions of the Pro brush set that came out for the holidays as well. And my initial thoughts of it were I didn't really like the texture because it was very dry feeling that I thought than the original ones, and I just thought it just, I don't know, I just wasn't a fan of it. And so I decided to do a review on it to get my end thoughts on the palette in itself. And so I bought this palette at Ulta for $11.99. I actually had a 20% off coupon. It retails for $14.99 and you can get it for $14.99 at Ulta and the Wet n Wild website. There is 5.4 grams in each of the eyeshadows. So this is what it looks like. There's 5.4 grams in each pan, and that's a total of maybe like around 22 grams of product in here. And these are full-sized highlighter palettes. The original ones just come in 5.4 as well, and so you're basically getting buy 3 get 1 free essentially. Now these are limited edition shades in the palette. So yeah, so let's just get into it. Per gram wise, so you're getting it about like $1 per gram if you're buying it individually. So technically per gram, it's, I want to say, I don't know, I'm gonna have to do the math and I will put it in the description. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared for that. Yeah, so let's just get into it. I'm gonna do some swatches and just compare the colors and show you guys some dupes. So when you get it, it comes, I mean, it looks like this, and it comes with this plastic flap to cover it. And don't get me wrong, it looks like an Anastasia glow kit. Let me just grab one I have. This is my sugar glow kit, and so the Wet n Wild one is a little bit longer in length, but the Wet n Wild one is way more flimsy, whereas the Anastasia one has more weight to it. And so, I mean, you can tell it's cheaper. Granted, it is $14.99 versus $40. So, yeah. And you're still getting, you only get 5.4 grams per highlighter. In this guy, you get 7.4 grams per highlighter. But then again, you know, you're getting more product in this. It's more money and whatnot. Okay, and so the difference in packaging is that it has this like black plastic, and I mean it's not very sturdy, I will say, and with these you can remove the actual pans, and so they both don't have a mirror. But yeah, so that's what this palette looks like. Looking at it, I really wanted it. I do collect the Wet n Wild highlighters, but I decided that I should stop collecting them because a lot of them are getting repetitive, and I have a bunch of highlighters that it's hard to not have something similar in my collection. So let me go ahead and swatch these, and I will show you dupes in my collection, and I'll tell you if I'm going to keep it or not. So this guy right here is Sweet Peony. So I'm just going to swatch that onto my finger. And Sweet Peony is like a very like silverish pink, silverish whitish pink is what I would describe it as, and it looks like that. And I'm just gonna swatch that right here. And so I feel like these are a little different than the normal formulation because I just feel like these are much drier, a little bit more chalky, and not necessarily chalky, it just feels dry. And it feels kind of glittery, but it's not really a glitter. So there is Sweet Peony. The next one is Diamond Lily, which is this blue one right here. And I'm going to swatch Diamond Lily. And Diamond Lily, I would describe it as a whitish, silverish blue. Is probably the best description. Focusing. Okay, And I'm actually going to leave a gap so that I can use my comparisons in between. So that is actually, I'm going to go in with a heavier swatch of both of those so that when I do comparisons as far as like dupes, you can see them vibrantly. So I'm just going to do a little bit more swatching. Okay, and so the second one here is Diamond Lily. I'm switching up the lighting a little bit. I hope the lighting is still fine. Okay. Alrighty. And the green one right here is called Wild Cosmos. And Wild Cosmos looks like, let me show you. It's like a greenish gold. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. It's a greenish gold. Looks like this. I mean, all of them are pretty smooth. They just feel pretty dry. And so this one is Wild Cosmos. Right here. I'm going to do one more swatch of Wild Cosmos. Okay, that's Wild Cosmos. And then the last one, wipe off my hand really quick. The last one in the palette is called Blushing Azalea, and it's right next to Wild Cosmos. It is this shade right here. And this is probably my least favorite of the three. This one, I mean, it still feels smooth, but if you look at it very closely, it's very like glittery, which I'm not a fan. And it's not like glitter that's finely milled. It's just, it looks like loosely packed glitter. And so I'm gonna put that guy right here. So that one is Blushing Azalea, and I'm gonna put a heavier swatch of Blushing Azalea right next to that. Okay, so I mean, that's all the 4 swatches on my hand. Again, this is, what are they called? Sweet Peony, Diamond Lily, Wild Cosmos, and Blushing Azalea. So this palette is great because it has 4 full-size highlighters. However, they are not the same formulation as the original ones that come in this packaging. They look the same as far as like the design and stuff, and they're called the same, but they don't have the same ingredients. The first ingredient in this palette for all the highlighters is synthetic fluoroflygopite, whereas the first ingredient in the My Mega Glow powder right here is boron nitrite. Boron nitrite. All in all, like, the ingredients are very similar. They're just not exactly the same. For example, so synthetic flugo whatever that I said that was in this first is the first ingredient in this limited edition palette. And so this limited edition one was the one that came out for spring 2016, and this guy, they both have the same. And I'm wondering if it is because it is the colored guys, whereas this is more neutral. For Wild Cosmos, yeah, that's the same deal with Wild Cosmos. So I mean, there's slight variations as far as ingredients go. The next ingredient would be dimethicone, boron nitride. Okay, I mean, they're very similar as far as ingredients go. I would just say that they're not as smooth as these guys. These just feel way smoother. I mean, I don't know if we can tell when I swatch it in texture. That one's Crown of My Canopy, and this one is Precious Petals. These are just way smoother, and they feel more of a baked gelée formula, whereas these guys, they just feel like a powder formula. They don't feel as like smooth. I will say these guys still feel like a baked gelée formula, but for some reason, these guys just feel a little bit more powdery, and I wouldn't say they're baked gelée. And when I say baked gelée formula, I think of highlighters like the Maybelline Master Chrome, which I love this highlighter. This is one of my all-time favorites. And I think of the formulation of the Estee Lauder Heat Wave, which is called a powdered gelée. and it looks like this. And so that's what I mean when I say baked gelée. And so although these two guys feel like that, this one doesn't. It feels a little bit more powdery, but it is still really pretty. So yeah, so that's as far as formulation wise goes. It's not the same exactly as the full-size pans. I will say they're a little bit drier, but they're still pretty smooth. The only thing I don't like is that chunkier one, which is Blushing Azalea. Now I'm gonna go on to dupes. So I was looking throughout my collection, and I own a decent amount of duochrome highlighters and colorful highlighters. So I was like, okay, you know what? I just need to swatch and see what I have a dupe of in my collection. And I didn't swatch many, but from the get-go of just like looking at, let me just start with the first color, Sweet Peony. So I don't think I have too many similar to my collection. The closest thing to Sweet Peony that I might have is I'll Have a Cosmo from their black line, the shimmer palette or whatever. Yeah. So this is I'll Have a Cosmo, and this guy has 11.3 grams of product. And so this one is pretty smooth. It kind of feels, now that I think about it, the formulation of these guys feel like these guys. And these are pretty powdery, but they're still pretty smooth. These guys are just way smoother than this. So yeah, now that I think about it, it kind of reminds me of this formulation more so than the actual traditional Mega Glow highlighting powder. I'm just going to swatch it next to, it's actually not that close. I'm going to swatch it next to Sweet Peony. So this is definitely more pink, but this is the closest I have to it. Yeah, this is a little bit more pink, which is still pretty. Alright, well that was a fail. Okay, I guess I don't have anything really similar to Sweet Peony in my collection. I thought it looked similar to Starburst by Anastasia, so I actually want to swatch it just in case. Okay, this is Starburst by Anastasia, and Starburst is just this whitish pink, but I don't think there's like silver tones in it. There's more white in it than it's silver, so I feel like this is just gonna be close to Blushing Azalea. And hold on, I'm gonna swatch this guy up here. You know what? Okay, it is kind of close to Blushing Azalea-ish. I mean, on the face, swatched, it looks different, but on the face, honestly, essentially, you're gonna get the same look. This is a little brighter, as you can see. You can see I'm swatched on my hand. I'm gonna swatch it a little bit more, and so you can see it right next to, what is it called? Sweet Peony. So right next to, actually, I need to swatch it again. So right next to each other, they don't really look too similar, but swatched, I'm gonna show you. They're pretty similar. And that's what they look like. Now, they're not dead on dupes, but they're similar enough to the point where I don't need both. So I believe, gosh, are you kidding me? I forgot which one was which. This one is this one is the Anastasia one, and this is the Wet n Wild one. So honestly, they're pretty similar that I don't need it. Yeah. And when I did put it on my face, it kind of seemed ashy, so I don't like it on its own. And so it's a gorgeous highlighter. If you don't own the Sugar Glow Kit by Anastasia, or you have fair skin, go for it. It's pretty. It's just I don't need that color again. So the next color is Diamond Lily, and so Diamond Lily is just really pretty blue. And you know, when I look at Diamond Lily, I can think of at least two dupes in my collection. Star or Blue Moon in the Moonchild palette. Oh, hello. So side by side, Star looks a little bit lighter than Diamond Lily, but let's swatch them right next to each other. I will show you. I've barely used this palette, so I'm going to swatch them for you guys. They're like dead on. Look at that. This guy is the Anastasia, and this guy is the Wet n Wild. I'm just going to start new swatches, actually, for you guys. So, this one is Anastasia, and this one is Diamond Lily. Yep, they are very similar. And the Anastasia one seems smoother. I really need to use this more. So that's what they look like. Another possible dupe, if you don't own the Anastasia glow kits, are the NYX duochromatic highlighters. I recently just broke this before going on vacation, which I was really bummed about. This was the second time dropping it, and this is the only highlighter, like I've dropped maybe my Maybelline Master Chrome one once ever, but this is the only highlighter I've ever like dropped twice, or actually dropped badly, I should say. And it is pretty much shattered, but I do want to swatch it for you guys. This guy is called Twilight Tint, and so let me just swatch it. Okay. Ooh. Try not to get it. I'm gonna use alcohol to try to get it back together, hopefully. We'll see if that won't be a fail. And so let me swatch that. See, even this guy is pretty similar. This guy seems to have more of a duochrome effect than the other guys do. Yeah, this seems more blue. So I really don't need that color in my collection. So that's what that looks like, and it looks really gorgeous. All right, now for Wild Cosmos. So Wild Cosmos is this green one right here. And so let me swatch it. I feel like I'm just rambling in this video. It's been a while since I filmed. I was on vacation for a while, and I didn't get to pre-film before leaving because I just had a lot of stuff to do. And I got sick over vacation, and so, yup, so I'm just rolling with it because I really wanted to film a video today. Okay, this is Wild Cosmos. I swatched that guy, and Wild Cosmos is really smooth. It's pretty. But if you already own the Wet n Wild Midnight Mermaid highlighter, then you don't need it. Okay, let me swatch that guy for you guys. And did I need this in the first place? I did not need it in the first place because I have another dupe for it, which is in the Aurora Glow Kit, and that color is Helia. And Helia looks like this. And so, hold on. They are dead on. So, this is Wild Cosmos right here. This is the Midnight Mermaid, or Midnight Moon from the Midnight Mermaid collection. And this is Helia. So they're pretty spot on. Like the Wet n Wild ones alone, those are very identical. And then, I mean, the Anastasia one looks a little bit brighter, but let's swatch them and see what we get. How am I going to swatch these? Okay, let's swatch them here. Okay, Wild Cosmos, Midnight Moon, and Helia. They're, like, spot on. I don't know if you can see. Like, there's very small differences to it. Essentially, on your cheeks, it's basically going to look the same. So, I have 3 of those, and I really love Helia. I've barely touched this one, and I really wanted it because I collect, like I said, Wet n Wild highlights, but then I decided I can't do that anymore unless it's very unique to my collection. So, okay, that one is Midnight Moon, or Wild Cosmos, I should say. And as far as Blushing Azalea goes, I don't really have a dupe for Blushing Azalea. Yeah, the closest one is probably Starburst. Yeah, maybe Starburst, as I said earlier, would be a close dupe. Is it worth it? It is hard to say whether or not it is worth it. I think this will work on most skin tones. I wouldn't say all. Like, I'm a medium to tan skin tone. Right now I look a little bit paler, but they kind of look ashy on me, so I can't say like this is gonna work on every single skin tone because I really don't think it will. I think with darker skin tones you can make it work somehow, but I'm not gonna say it's gonna work on every single skin tone. Alright, would I recommend this? It is hard to say. I will say no. If I don't recommend this if you already own the Moonchild palette, because I mean, even Lucky Clover can be close to, let me show you. Even Lucky Clover could be close to Wild Cosmos in that if you don't own this guy, or if you don't own the Aurora Glow Kit. So if you own either or of, whether it's the Aurora Glow Kit, the Moonchild Glow Kit, do you need this palette? No. If you don't own any of these, you own one of these, I still think you don't need it, especially if you bought the Midnight Mermaid color. You really don't need it because, I mean, there's something similar in the palette with Moonchild, like with, I would say for most of these, for Moonchild is, you know, pretty similar. It's just not that unique. And is it a good price point? Yes, because it's basically buy 3 get 1 free. And I hate to say I wouldn't recommend this because I love Wet n Wild. I'm very impressed with all the stuff that they're coming out with. I love their brushes, well, especially the pro ones. I don't love every single of the white-handled brushes, but I love their pro brush set. I think they're very affordable. They always have good deals, whether it's Walgreens or getting it at Target, on Cartwheel and whatnot. And I just love their highlighters. They're just like one of the most affordable brands at the drugstore, and it's good quality. So I hate to say don't get it because you're basically getting like a buy 3 get 1. If you don't own Moonchild and you don't own Aurora, or you don't own this guy and you don't own a lot of highlighters in general, I would say go for this palette. It's pretty for $14.99, and if you're on a budget, it is really pretty palette. It's just not a baked gelée formula. If you own a lot of highlighters like me, you own the Moonchild, and you own the Aurora, and you own this Midnight Moon, this is definitely unnecessary. I own a good amount of the glow kits. I don't own every single one of the glow kits, but I own a vast majority of it. And honestly, I will say that out of all the glow kits, I really don't use Moonchild as much as I should. Yeah, I just don't use Moonchild. Really pretty palette, and I want to be more experimenting more with it. And I actually got this for my birthday last year, and so yeah, I think it's a gorgeous palette. I love Moonchild, but I can't justify keeping the Illuminatrix palette knowing that I don't even use Moonchild. I do use Helia in the Aurora Glow Kit a lot, so I just don't see a point of me keeping this where I have palettes, you know, when I have, for example, I have a dupe for this guy and I wasn't too crazy about it. I have about like 3 dupes for this guy, or 2 dupes for this guy in my collection. I mean, I'm not too crazy about this color to begin with. I have about 2 other dupes in this collection and 1 other dupe. So yeah, if you're on a budget, go ahead, pick it up. If you don't own the Moonchild, pick it up. But honestly, I would just skip on this palette. Yeah. So I'm sorry if this video was super long. I just wanted to show you guys some dupes in my collection. I kind of want to do that as I do, highlighter palette reviews, because a lot of these highlighters you might already own if you're a highlighter junkie like me. And so if you could save money, even if it's only $12, why not? You can save that towards towards something else. So am I going to keep this? I probably won't keep this. I really wanted to love this, but honestly, I just don't need this. And it's a good deal, but I'm not going to just keep it because I don't want it just to be sitting in my collection when I can be using my higher end ones that I already got gifted. Yeah, that I got gifted. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I have a haul coming up soon and some other videos. Comment down below if you have any requests, and I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.